Hello and welcome back to Eurofootball Daily, where we've collated another top 10 for you. This week we're looking at teams who cracked under pressure. Here we go. 10. Tottenham 2016. The White Hart Lane regulars who are now trekking to Wembley are used to abusive bottle jobs coming from opposing stands since they allowed Leicester City to miraculously grab the title in 2015-16. Claudio Ranieri's Foxes had capitalised on everyone's poor form and stormed to the top of the Prem, fueled with victory pizzas and Jamie Vardy cocktails. And by May, Spurs found themselves scapegoated for letting the title slip from their fingers. It might be slightly harsh to name Spurs as the reigning bottle jobs of Europe, but the fact remains that the 2015-16 campaign was their best chance at ending their 58-year-long title drought, and they cracked under the pressure. In March, they had the chance to go top of the league with just 15 minutes against a 10-man Arsenal side stood in their way. But instead, Alexis Sanchez found the net, Tottenham dropped points, and Leicester secured a 5-point gap, keeping the top spot for the rest of the season. However, there are signs that their often criticised mentality is maturing. In the 2018 World Cup, Harry Kane, Kieran Trippier and Eric Dyer all stepped up to the spot and helped England win on pens. And if we look closely at Pochettino's squad's performances this season, we've seen Spurs win uglier than ever to pull themselves into the 18-19 title race. 9. Liverpool 2013. Currently sitting top of the Premier League, Liverpool are 3 points clear of the holders in second. But following the Reds' draw against West Ham last week, they've lost the opportunity to set a strong 6-point gap between them and Manchester City. Yet the trip to the London Stadium would have sparked fear in the shape of the 2013-14 season into many Liverpool fans. Starting 2014 with 11 straight wins, Brendan Rodgers' Liverpool were piling the pressure on Man City, who sat at the top of the table. They had relied on Steven Gerrard to save their day away at Fulham and at Old Trafford, and took a huge step towards the trophy by beating the league leaders 3-2 at Anfield. While their home form kept them in the running for a while, 2 away trips to London made sure that Liverpool wouldn't lay their hands on the Premier League trophy. That famous Stevie G slip against Chelsea led to a Demba Ba goal and a 2-0 defeat. It was followed by a 3-0 lead turned into a 3-3 draw at Selhurst Park to see Liverpool's title hopes completely crumble and Man City lift the trophy in 2014. 8. Arsenal 2011. Arsene Wenger's tenure in North London might now be looked on with rose-tinted glasses, but really we can split it into 2 halves. One consisting of domestic dominance with the Invincibles at Highbury, and the other tinged with regretful sales to their rivals to pay off the Emirates. In 2006, they made the switch over to their super stadium, bid farewell to Laurent, Ashley Cole and Patrick Vieira as their Invincible squad began to disperse, and Wenger was forced to instead save money and put faith into youngsters. 4 years on from their move, and Wenger had the opportunity to end his 6-year wait for another piece of silverware in the Capital One Cup. Facing relegation battlers Birmingham at Wembley, it looked like an easy win for the Gunners, who expected to lift the mood of their fans along with the trophy. It didn't go quite to plan though. Robin van Persie had to cancel out the underdogs' early lead, as it looked like both teams would be heading to extra time. However, calamitous defending between Wojciech Szczesny and Laurent Koscielny gifted Obafemi Martins an open goal, and consequently Birmingham the trophy. As if choking at the final hurdle wasn't enough, the Gunners went on to win just 1 of their next 8 games in the league to drop out of the title race and into their natural 4th place habitat. But who do you guys think are the biggest bottlers in North London? Comment below please. 7. AC Milan 2005. The Champions League final in 2005 has gone down in folklore as Liverpool performed one of the most impressive comebacks on the toughest European stage. However, if we look at that night in Istanbul from the less publicised gaze and focus on AC Milan's horror instead of Liverpool's heroics, and it's clear that the Italian club completely bottled it. Having already fluffed the Serie A title, winning only 3 of their final 9 matches to give away the league title to the old lady, it looked like Milan had come back fighting in the UCL final. 3-0 up with 45 minutes gone, rumour has it that the Rossoneri were celebrating their victory at half-time, while Steven Gerrard was inspiring his squad in the opposite changing room. Shocking for the team that was captained by Maldini and consisted of Cafu, Pirlo, Shevchenko and Kaka, but they clearly hadn't got over their Serie A nightmare. Milan conceded 3 goals in the second half to take the final to extra time, and they went on to lose on penalties. Clearly they thought they had it in the bag, and their star-studded team cracked as soon as Liverpool put on the pressure. 6. Monaco 2018. Back in 2017, Monaco weren't the Thierry Henry savage relegation battlers we've seen so far in the 18-19 Ligue 1 campaign. They were a force to be reckoned with. Having just won the title, their ferocious attack, headed by their teenage wonderkid Kylian Mbappe, was feared by every defence in France. But just a year on from their domestic success, and things were looking a lot different. Key players including Mbappe, Bakayoko and Bernardo Silva had all been sold, with the club making €301 million from all their departures. Losing such important players put pressure on Monaco. They now had high expectations and were competing in the Champions League. On top of this, they failed to reinforce their squad. The Principality spent €111 million on bringing players in, but their most expensive was Keita Balde at €27 million. And while Hardim kept them afloat in the league, ending the 17-18 campaign in second place, Monaco failed on the European stage. The side dropped out of the Champions League in the group stage, coming rock bottom, below Besiktas, Porto and RB Leipzig, without a win to their name in hardly the toughest of groups. 5. Brazil 2014. The World Cup returned to Brazil in 2014 and their squad were ready to lift the trophy on home soil. Captain Thiago Silva explained that they would not fall victim to the intense pressure of the tournament as their squad psychologist was focused on keeping the team relaxed. Each player reportedly underwent intense psychological scrutiny with the aim to make them at ease on the pitch. And it started well. Topping their group and sambering past Chile and Colombia, it seemed to be paying off. That was until the Seleção met Germany in the semi-final. Unfortunately for the Canaries, their star man Neymar suffered a broken back in the quarter-final versus Colombia, ruling him out of the massive game. After he missed the game through injury, the starting 11 held Neymar's shirt in the opening line of the national anthem in a weird sort of memorial for the player who is very much alive, and it sort of foreshadowed the rest of the game. Far too emotional and too much pressure without the playmaker, and the Brazilians completely capitulated, losing 7-1 to the Germans and handing them a spot in the final. They simply couldn't hack the pressure to perform on their home stage without their number 10. Suffering from shock to fear to horror to despair, the players were anything but at ease in the Estadio Mineiro. 4. Netherlands 2010. The 2010 World Cup was the year Spain truly asserted their dominance with the trophy and the Euros already in their cabinet. But it was their opponents in the final, the Netherlands, who looked unstoppable. Coming to the final hurdle, the Dutch had won all 6 of their matches, scoring 11 times and conceding just 5. They managed to beat a Brazil side in the quarters with Kaká, Dani Alves and Robinho in their ranks, and in the semis had overcome the likes of Cavani and Forlan, leading the line for Uruguay. The experienced team, whose average age was 28, were on fire. Arjen Robben had just come off his first season at Bayern, where he managed to contribute to a goal every 77 minutes in the league, and Robin van Persie had registered 9 goals and 7 assists in just 16 Premier League games. However, when the final came along, the Orange fell to their fate as the best ever losers. Having made it to the finals in 1974 and 78 with the great Johan Cruyff, yet still missing out on the trophy, maybe it was simply too much pressure. Or maybe they were simply played off the pitch when it mattered. Spain racked up 17 shots to the Netherlands' 12, with Bert van Marwijk's side only seeing 37% of the ball. Wesley Sneijder, who had scored the most goals in the tournament, didn't show up, and Robben missed the best chance of the game. Deciding that their only option was to play dirty, 8 cards were shown to the Netherlands, including a red to Johnny Heitinger. Spain scored an extra time to win the tournament, whilst the Netherlands haven't even managed to qualify for a major competition since 2014. 3. England 1990. When the Three Lions were left heartbroken at the hands of Croatia in Russia 2018, fans may have had flashbacks to Italia 90, when England last reached a semi-final. The squad contained some of England's greatest ever players. Gary Lineker, Chris Waddle and Paul Gascoigne were all part of the team. They had shown grit and finally turned around the British media to support their pursuit of the trophy. With tough wins over Belgium and Cameroon in the bag, it was West Germany, arguably the best team in the competition, that stood in their way of England's second ever World Cup final. All square at half-time, just 14 minutes into the second half, and West Germany went 1-0 up. With 10 minutes left, Lineker, who had scored 3 times in the competition, netted and gave England a huge chance of progressing to the final after 30 years of hurt. 1-1 at the end of extra time, England were left to face their biggest nemesis, penalties. And although things started well with both teams netting their first 3, it was Stuart Pearce who had his saved. After Germany scored their 4th, it was all down to Chris Waddle, who had the whole nation and their pressure on his back. The then 29-year-old blasted the ball over the bar, kicking England out of the cup and starting a torrid 19-year spell of penalty agony. 2. Bayern Munich 99. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has managed to do the impossible for Man United this season. Swapping a bitter Portuguese for a friendly Norwegian has thankfully turned the underperforming squad back into top 4 contenders, with Molde now seriously worried they're going to lose their manager permanently. Why are we surprised though? Back in 1999, OGS was making his name as a miracle man. After reaching the Champions League final with hopes of completing the treble, Man United faced Bayern Munich at the Nou Camp. Inside just 5 minutes they went behind as Bayern striker Carsten Janker was brought down by Ronnie Jensen. Organised with German efficiency, their free kick broke through the United wall and Mario Basler put them in the lead. However, the second half saw the Germans tire, and having already seen their colours tied to the trophy, they got complacent. Enter the super sub and a painful extra time for the Bavarians. 2 goals in 90+ minutes, including a famous strike by Ollie, and Bayern had bottled their hopes of the German treble and passed the trophy to United. 1. Newcastle 1995-96. Rafa Benitez might currently be hoisting Newcastle United into a much higher league position than Mike Ashley deserves, but it was only in 16-17 that they regained their Premier League status. But rewind back to the mid-90s and Newcastle were battling at the top of the table and not at the base of it. In 1996, with Kevin Keegan at the helm, the Magpies were 12 points clear of second place United by early February, confident they would be ending their 70-year wait for a title. Keegan was inspiring the players into what looked like a nailed-on league triumph, with midfielder John Beresford famously stating that the Newcastle squad would have jumped off the time bridge had their gaffer told them so. But thanks to a lack of experience, a gung-ho approach and terrible away form, their lead was chipped away by the experience of Man United, meaning that the entertainers including David Ginola, Alan Shearer and Les Ferdinand went without winners' medals and down in the history books as one of the best teams in Premier League history never to lift the trophy. So that was our list of 10 teams that have choked throughout football history. What did you guys think was the worst one? Let me know in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, go and check out all our other content across Football Daily, Euro Football Daily, and of course FDFC. Don't forget to subscribe. Subscribe to all our channels and like all our content, and I'll see you next time. Thanks very much. Bye.